Not so long ago, we did a review on the Toyota BZ4X, and quite honestly, we came back a little disappointed. But for 2026, it gets some serious updates. Before we get into those updates, do us a favor, hit like and subscribe below to get all of our latest reviews. One of the most obvious changes are styling, and it's just a little tweak here and there, but I think it actually cleans it up a little bit. Up front, we still have what Toyota calls their hammerhead front, and I really like their direction. I think it's a huge improvement over the last iteration of style where it was just big grills everywhere. This is more tamed down and more refined, I think. I especially like these little blades that cut into the headlights, which sort of appeared with the Prius and the new Camry. And then down here in the grille, it's just a little more simpler, a little more EV looking. Besides the style, there's also other big changes. One of them is the name itself. It's no longer the BZ4X, it's just the BZ, which also I think is an improvement. It doesn't look like one of those challenge captchas where you have to prove you're not a computer. The biggest news is a larger battery. It's up to 74.7 kilowatt hours, which should return up to 314 miles on the XLE front-wheel drive model. Now that larger battery is also available on other trims, but with all-wheel drive, range drops to about 278. The other battery is a 57.7 kilowatt hour unit. That comes on the XLE front-wheel drive, and that drops to 235 miles. All-wheel drive models are good for 338 horsepower and should get you to 60 miles an hour in about 4.9 seconds. Front-wheel drive models drop to 221 horsepower, but that's still 20 more than the previous model. New for all of these is a NACS port. That's the Tesla-sized port that is really popular and everyone in the industry is going towards it. It's capable of DC fast charging, and it should get you from 10% to 80% charge in only 30 minutes. Also built in the system is battery preconditioning so that you get the best charge rate as soon as you show up to your charge station, and plug-in charge, which makes it way easier if you're using different charge networks. You don't have to use different apps, you just plug it in and go. Another addition to the BZ family is the new Woodland trim, which is more focused on off-roading. Obviously it comes with all-wheel drive as standard, but power goes up to 375 horsepower, which drops range down to 260 miles. It has 8.3 inches of ground clearance and comes with available all-terrain tires that are mounted on 18-inch alloy wheels with removable covers. The tow capacity maxes out at 3,500 pounds when properly equipped. Now this Woodland model also is 6 inches longer than the standard BZ, which increases cargo capacity to over 30 cubic feet. In addition to all the changes on the outside, there are also a few changes on the inside of the new BZ. First off, the dashboard is a little slimmer, a little simpler, and quite honestly, it looks a little more modern, a little more up-to-date. Also, this center console has been redone, and it holds two side-by-side wireless phone chargers. That's pretty smart. Now, I'm not sold on the way they configured it. It tends to eat up a lot of space that could be used for storage. I was thinking maybe they were slid down, sort of like how Volkswagen and Audi do it, where it just slides down in the clip, save a lot more space. But as it is, it's nice having two wireless chargers. Also, we get paddle shifters on some models, so you can adjust the brake regeneration, so you can almost get to one pedal driving. What you won't see that also helps with range is they've installed a heat pump, which is way more efficient than your typical HVAC system. The standard audio is a 6-speaker Toyota system, but on many models you can get a 9-speaker JBL premium audio. You also get a lot of the typical connectivity features. These include remote monitoring and control, which helps when you're charging. You also get a Wi-Fi hotspot and streaming audio services. There's also the option for a digital key, which means you don't really have to carry that key fob anymore. You can just use your smartphone. Here in the limited trim, we get the Softex synthetic leather, which is pretty nice. It's soft, but it doesn't quite feel like genuine leather, but even in this hot Texas sun, we're pretty comfortable, especially since this model also comes with ventilated seats. You also get a handful of additional safety features, which include lane change assist and traffic jam assist, which combines adaptive cruise control with lane keep assist to take some of the burden of driving in traffic off. Also offered is front cross traffic alert, as well as a semi-automated self-parking system. As far as materials quality goes, it's about what you'd expect from Toyota. You get some hard plastics here and there, but where you're going to come into contact is nicely padded. For storage, we have two moderately sized cup holders here, and this dual-hinged center console, which is pretty handy for access for the passenger, but I've noticed that it's kind of rattly, but so far it hasn't been bothering much over bumps. Helping with the overall tech feel of the interior is a standard digital instrument panel, and this massive 14-inch infotainment touchscreen. I think it's placed perfectly in my sightlines where it's not really that distracting to use while I'm driving. And when something does pop up, it doesn't draw my attention away too much. Adding on to the safety features, you have multiple camera views, including your typical surround view. To add to that, we also have this digital rear view mirror, which helps you see out the back if you're loaded all the way to the roof. Here in the back seat, I have plenty of room. I'm 5'10", sitting behind the driver's seat, which is set for me, and I've got tons of leg room, tons of knee space. My feet don't fit under the seat, but there is still plenty of foot room for me. Headroom, I've got maybe an inch or two extra, and it's nicely coved out for the sunroof. Materials quality back here is about the same as the front, which is a little bit of plastic here and there, but not where it really gets in the way. We also have heated outboard seats here, and 2 vents, and 2 USB-C charge ports. And here in the center, we have an armrest with 2 moderately sized cup holders, and a nice slot here for your wireless devices. Now, the sense of space back here is helped by this huge panoramic sunroof, which kind of opens it up and lets the sun in. Also, you don't feel so closed in back here, thanks to this kind of cutout window right behind my head. So everything feels nicely well opened up, and it's slightly elevated so I can see out the front just fine too. Here in the back, we have 27.7 cubic feet of cargo space, which is equivalent to last year. Now, if you go for the Woodland, that extends over 30 cubic feet. Now, helping matters back here, there's a little storage underneath, which is really helpful. There's also some handy hooks here for your grocery bags, and there's also household power outlet. So we're driving the all-wheel drive model that has a lot more power, and I gotta say, I like it. Big surprise there, huh? It gets up speed just fine, and honestly, it's got more power than most drivers will ever need, especially in this class. It's really easy to drive. There's really nothing to it. These regenerative paddles here help you adjust how much it slows down when you let off the pedal, but it will not bring you to a complete stop, unfortunately. Still, if you're new to EVs, it's going to be very familiar for you. When it comes to handling and braking and all that dynamic stuff, it's not really all that impressive, but it is very smooth, and to me, that's way more important in this class. Customers in this class, they're looking for comfort, drivability, and just ease of use. And in that manner, this BZ fulfills its purpose. The ride quality itself is really nice and smooth. It's on the stiff side, oddly enough, but it's certainly not off-putting. It's smoothing over almost all of the bumps on the road just fine, like that one. And it's nice and quiet as we just kind of glide along. So this is one of those cars that will be a great city car, which it was before, especially when it's limited range. But now that it has all this extra miles they can travel, it's also a good road tripper. Now, if you are one of those drivers who are looking for a little more performance, a little sportier something, well, you have the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, as well as the Kia EV6 GT. But even without those higher performance models, they are slightly sportier than this BZ. As far as visibility goes, it's just fine. I don't have any obstructions here with this roof pillar, and the view out the back is about average for what you'd consider any small SUV today. One thing that I did notice, though, is it has an oddly wide turning circle that we'll demonstrate here, which means you're going to need a lot more space to do a U-turn, or you're going to have to get used to multi-point turns. All in all, it drives exactly how it should. There's no surprises here. There's no complaints here. So if you're thinking about a BZ, I'm kind of on board with you. Pricing hasn't been announced just yet, but the standard BZ should be announced closer to its on-sale date, which is in the second half of 2025. The Woodland model, that comes out in the beginning of 2026. Overall, these changes do nothing but improve the outlook for the BZ. Better range, better looks, better interior, more tech. What's not to love? And now, with 314 miles of projected range, it's finally competitive against its rivals. What do you think? Would you go for the Toyota BZ, or perhaps go for one of the other compact EVs out there? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons to get all of our latest reviews.